looking at page 4 of the packet. So this is the one that got cut off, and I gave it to you guys separately, so hopefully you still have it. Alright, so this is still, we're writing a rule, and for this one, you can see it looks actually just like the one that we did. I'll show you. On the last page, we reflected this shape across the x-axis. You can see each point is the same distance like on both sides of the x-axis. It's a perfect flip over the x-axis. And that's the same thing here. This is a reflection over the x-axis, right? This is the x-axis here. I don't have a highlighter. But this is the x-axis, and the shape literally flipped over the x-axis. So we put reflection over x-axis. Okay. For number 8, this is a 180-degree rotation. It's like it went from one side of the graph to the other. That's a 180-degree turn. And if you wanted to prove that, you could look at one of the coordinates. So we'll look at x and x prime. So remember, in a 180-degree rotation, nothing happens except for both of the signs change of the numbers. So if you look at the original x, it's -4, +2. And x prime over here is +4 and -2. So it's like literally both of the signs just change. So that's how another way you can tell that it's a 180-degree rotation. None of the numbers swapped or anything like that. If it was a reflection, only one of the signs would change, but both of them change, so it is a 180-degree rotation. Okay, now we'll just do a few of these here. Number 9, a 90 degrees clockwise rotation. So I'm going to go ahead and plot these points. These are the points of the pre-image. And like I said, you guys can pause and write the numbers on your graph. I am not going to for the sake of time on the videos, okay? Alright, so B is -2, 0. C is -4 and 3. Z is -3 and 4. And X is -1 and 4. Kind of a weird shape. Okay, now we're going to do a 90 degrees clockwise rotation. So remember, for a 90 degrees clockwise rotation, both of the the numbers, the X and Y, they switch places. And then for clockwise, the one on the right changes signs. So let's do B prime. So the 0 and the -2 are going to switch places. And then since it's clockwise, we change the sign on the right. Okay, C prime. Go ahead and switch them. 3 comes first, -4 second, and then make that -4 a positive. Z prime. Switch them. Make the 4 go first and -3 second, and then change the sign on the right. X prime, -1, 4, we switch them, and then change the sign on the right side. Not hard, just something that you have to remember. These are definitely easy, but you just have to remember the rules. So B prime is 0, 2. C prime is +3, +4. Z prime is +4, +3. And X prime is +4 and 1. Okay, that looks just like a 90 degrees clockwise rotation. Perfect. Okay, we're not doing number 10. And for 11, 13, and 14, we're just doing the coordinates. So, no graph. Okay. So 180-degree rotation, that's when both signs change. There's no swapping. You just change the sign of both numbers. So like for E prime, this positive 2 becomes negative 2, and the negative 2 becomes positive 2. For J prime, both of these are positive, 1 and 2, so they both become negative. You just change the sign. That's it. For R, positive positive becomes negative and negative. And for S prime, positive positive becomes negative and negative. Easy, easy. Okay. Number 13, a translation. 7 units right and 1 unit down. Remember, for translations, when you are going right or up, that's when you add. When you go left or down, that's when you subtract. Okay, now you also have to remember the directions of the axes. So the x-axis is the one that goes right and left, and the y-axis is the one that goes up and down. So if you're adding to y, that means you're going up. If you're subtracting from y, that means you're going down. If you're doing x plus something, that means go right. X minus something means go left. So we can put this in translation notation. So it's parentheses, x comma y, arrow. Now let's see. What is happening to the x-axis in this, or the x value in this translation? So it says to go 7 units to the right. So we know that when something goes right, that has to be involving the x-axis. And when we go right, this is why we draw this little thing. When you go right, it's a plus. So you would write x plus 7, because we're going right on the x-axis. That is adding. And then 1 unit down, when you go down, that's a y-axis thing. So you go y, and when you go down, it's minus, y minus 1 unit. That is all. Let's try another one. Number 14. Oh, I forgot we have to actually do this to the numbers. Okay. So you take your coordinates. So this one is J, F, and N. And for the x value in the coordinate, you're going to add 7. And for the y value, you're going to subtract 1. So we'll start with J. Our x value is a negative 3. So we're going to do negative 3 plus 7. You can use your calculator. Negative 3 plus 7 is 4. So the new x-coordinate will be 4. Okay, and then now we're going to do y minus 1. So go to your y. Here is a 1. So we'll do 1 minus 1. That's 0. This is what I was saying, like when I was saying you can do these without a graph. Okay, so that's J prime. Let's do F. So our x value is negative 2. So we'll do negative 2 plus 7, and that's 5. And then our y value is 3. So 3 minus 1 is 2. And then N prime. Our x is negative 2. So negative 2 plus 7, that's 5. Our y value is 0. So 0 minus 1, that's negative 1. Okay, let's try another one. 14, a 6 units right translation and 3 units down. So let's put it in translation notation, parentheses, x comma y arrow. Okay, 6 units right, that's the x-axis, and that is plus 6. 3 units down, that's the y-axis, and that's minus 3. Okay. So let's do S prime. We're going to add 6 to the x, subtract 3 from the y. So our first x value is negative 3. Negative 3 plus 6 is 3. And our y value is also, no, not also, our y value is 3. So 3 minus 3 is 0. Let's do C. My x value for C is -1. So I'm going to do -1 plus 6, and that is 5. My y value is 4, so I'm going to do 4 minus 3, and that is 1. For W, we have -2 is my x, so -2 plus 6, that's 4. And my y is -1, so -1 minus 3 is -4. And those are your new coordinates after the translation. Alright guys, we only have one more page left after this, so I'm going to stop here.